I did not understand until this week how stupid they think we are. They think we are so dumb. This lady, her stupid evil space cowboy husband, Katie, like all the super rich people. And you know, what it's giving is sexy Halloween costumes, like sexy hamburger, sexy shot, sexy Girl Scout, sexy college graduate, sexy astronaut, if you want to call her that. And I honestly could not figure out why I had so many people in my comments telling me that this whole thing was fake. Like, I mean, I think a third of my comments, and I have one of my videos has almost 400,000 views on just one of them. There's 100,000. My videos like blew up on this, and everyone's like, it's fake. And I'm like, what is with all this fake? So it's the door. It's the door and this like fake looking hand, which is like a Barbie, which I've seen explanations for what this is really about. I don't even care. I don't care. That's not what it's about. This whole show right here, like this could all be fake too. I don't care. All I care is that these super rich people spend a ton of money trying to control our thoughts, control us, try to get us to consume. And they think we are so stupid that we wouldn't notice that this door opened and then they closed it, right? So it really like opened, I guess. And then the big strong cowboy came out with his like wrench or whatever to open. Here's the thing. Here's what I think happened with that. Because I'm actually going to go into a bunch of stuff. Like what they brought this on themselves. I feel so bad that there are two like brilliant scientists in there. Like I hate that they are being, I don't know much about the other woman and Gail, you know, I was going to give Gail a pass a little bit. To me, she was legitimate somewhat, right? Like, you know, she's a journal compared to the other two. Like Lauren and Katie are in a whole different ridiculous universe, okay? But the stuff Gail's been saying, I'm like, oh my God, just why are you know, just acknowledge that we have a right to be upset. Like that's it. Because the thing is that when you get in something with someone like Lauren Sanchez, who is one of the reasons why Trump is in power, and so many people are being terrorized, who are being disappeared, who are like so many people's lives are in danger because that man is in power. And it's only been a couple months, okay? Or whatever. Yeah, like 4 years of this at least. And so people are like pissed because that lady and her husband helped that man get into office and was at his inauguration. So and that company, Amazon, is one of the reasons why we are in such a terrible situation economically, environmentally, the amount of emission, they exploit they abuse their workers and all this stuff. So we like don't like those people. Most of us don't like that couple. No matter what they think, most of us do not like the same way. We don't like the dude who, you know, Luigi did the thing too. So if you're going to go in a rocket with those people, like, people are going to be pissed, especially when all they do is sell makeup. Like, I just want to show some of the most ridiculous things. It's because Lauren and Katie did this to themselves, okay? They went full glam. They literally took the spotlight out of anything cool about any of this, right? They literally made space not cool. Imagine you got all these people from Gen X who watched E.T., you know, like Space Camp. We saw a teacher die, right, on live TV who was on the Challenger. You know, I always thought space, I had a nostalgic relationship to space, and now I forking hate it. Other than the actual astronauts, space tourism, Elon, Bezos, all of them have made space not cool. Made it, if anything, make me resent the fact that anybody goes to space, even though I know some of them need to be doing it, you know? Like, I hate that they ruin space. Imagine being that awful that you ruin space. And they're all like, we're going to inspire people to go to space. And no, all you did was make us make fun of, you made people make fun of some of the people on there who, one was like, wanted to be an astronaut. One of them worked for NASA, you know? Like, anyway. But they think we are so stupid. We wouldn't notice a door. Now, here's the thing. As somebody who worked in the film industry for, I don't know, 7 years or so, and I've just been in, like, entertainment and, you know, production, right? Well, I've been, you know, a storyteller. I'm a performer, right? And I also, like, I worked on the crew, right? Not in front of the camera, behind the camera, as a prop. Like, my job was making things that aren't real look real, you know, and making things that are real look different when what they're supposed to be. I made barf, okay? I made it look like people were barfing with a, like, in, what's that movie called? I forget it. Paul Dano and Zoe, what's her face from New Girl? I think that was the movie. Anyway, we had to literally make vomit. I made vomit for a Wes Craven, is that what's his butt? The horror dude. I made vomit, literally made it. Okay? And then I made a vomit machine for the Paul Dano movie. Okay? I know how to make things look real that aren't real. And when I saw this whole thing, because I unfortunately watched the launch just to see, I was honestly afraid they're all going to die. I thought maybe he hates his fiance or whatever. I just don't trust all women I was like, I was nervous. Not for Katie and Lauren, but for the other women. And when they were sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting to open that door, I was like, oh my God, y'all just open the door. They're waiting to get the perfect shot, right? They should have just cut the cameras instead of doing it live. So instead, we get to see all these, we see the boom, we see all the camera crew, and they're just waiting and waiting and waiting for the perfect shot. And you know what? To me, it makes sense that you should be able to open it from the inside. I don't know. That seems weird that you would have to not be able to open it from the inside. But I don't know anything about this thing. Maybe whatever. But the door was opened and then it was closed. Because if you ask me, they needed that shot. Jeff Bezos, there's no way that man was going to spend all his money, and his ego was not going to just let all those stupid, silly women do all that and him not be the center. Okay, he had to be the center of that whole production. Didn't even ring the bell. He was up there, you know, when the place where they were ringing the bell. Like, that man was like, it's all about me at the end of the day. Like, yeah, you go, ladies, women empowerment, whatever. But it's about me. So of course he's gonna open that door, and the first person who has to come out is Lauren, and the first person she has to hug and basically thank is him. He had to be the center. So to me, that's what that was about. It was about him, right? And they think we are so dumb that the internet, who literally caught Gabby Petito's, helped find her body. Like, people on the internet are a bunch of Nancy Drews and Sherlock Holmes, and they find stuff, okay? It's a little terrifying, honestly. That's why I don't really, I'm very private now, because the wrong person to find stuff can be very scary. They notice everything. We notice everything. And he was like, whatever. This man just thinks that we are so dumb. None of us would notice that this is like sexy Halloween NASA, okay? None of us understand branding at all. Like, come on. We know, we have seen what the Kardashians have done to our culture. People on TikTok, what's her face? Kim or one of those people tried to do TikTok and tried to drop her phone as an oopsies to be more, relatable. Everyone was like, nah, that was planned. That was scripted. People, we know that y'all are selling us something all the freaking time. So we noticed that she mentioned Spanx. We noticed that they talked about which makeup they were going to use. We noticed that everything they were trying to sell, while also, more than anything, tried to sell space tourism, which is devastating to the planet, people are going to die because these rich folks are so dead inside and so addicted to feeling good for a minute that they want to go to space. They gotta climb Everest. They gotta go to space. They gotta go look at the Titanic and disrupt a cemetery at the bottom of the ocean. They just gotta do it. They gotta feel, right? Because they're addicts. And I wish they would just, okay? Let's self-destruct on your own. Don't take all of us out with you. So we know, most of us think, given what's happening with the world, with climate change, in the United States right now, all these things, people get the eggs. When they see celebrities go up there talking about their makeup and their sexy outfit, this is female empowerment, we see right through it. They think we're so dumb. Now they're offended that we didn't buy it. And I kind of love that. And what really gets me, and I had to check myself on this, okay? Because I used to really hate makeup and Barbie and all that stuff because I was a toxic masculine feminist. I wrote an article about it for Outside Magazine. Okay, I've always been a tomboy, but when I worked as a whitewater raft guide and I worked with a bunch of dudes and I was in like the boys club, I went so far the other way because I hated that I was supposed to do that. And this was like my rebellion, okay? So I had to kind of come to the center where I was like, you know what? I get why people do that. I get why it feels good. I actually like to wear nice clothes sometimes. Like I've kind of I'm not in that extreme anymore, right? And I don't wear makeup. And yet it seemed to me that everyone on that freaking ship or whatever you call it had to wear makeup. They all had their hair done and none of them were wearing ponytails. Okay? That's how I know. So my friend Daisy, she's the one who pointed this out. She was like, you always know if a woman wrote something because when there's like a fight scene or something, if she puts her hair in a ponytail, it's that she means business. If, you know, or if like who the director is, you can always tell whose point of view is telling a story because when a woman is going to do something crazy and she's got long hair, she's usually going to put that stuff back in the ponytail because that is go time, right? Like they all had their hair down, flowing. You know what? It would have been nice to have one tomboy looking woman up there. Or, you know what? I know that on TV, I've been on TV a few times and like they usually try to put makeup on you, right? Because they have to. Like, I get it, but like to the way they dolled them up though, they literally were lashes, like sexy outfits. Let's just look at some of the quotes. This is what pissed me off because here's the thing. You know what? I do see, first of all, there is the European beauty standard, which is unbelievably white supremacist, right? And so the farther away that you are like born looking like the beauty standard, the European white beauty standard or whatever, like the more you get punished, right? So there's also privilege of not having to do all that stuff, right? Like I can wear my hair crazy and I'm not going to get the consequences that someone with darker skin, a different texture of hair would get for just like not doing their hair, right? So having a messy bun, looking like a slob, Adam Sandler is like the male version of that. Just literally looks awful all the time and he's respected more for it, right? So I see that wearing makeup is empowering for some people. It is like, it's not necessarily for men, that feeling like really sexy and beautiful, like that's understandable. And also that to make more money, to do like, there's a lot of like very serious reasons why a lot of women spend a lot of money on their looks, okay? There's pretty privilege, there is, skinny privilege. There's all these things that are literally going to affect a woman's income. And also, it's artistic. I haven't worn makeup other than like when I had to when they made me for like a photo or being on like a show or something. I never wear makeup. I don't know how to do my makeup. I haven't done it since I was 16 or 15, I think. But I love to watch women tell stories and do their makeup because I'm like, what is this they're doing? What is that? Like contouring? I don't even know what it is, but I'm fascinated. It's like painting. Okay? So I'm not in that place of like that internalized misogynist who's anti-makeup, anti-feminine look, like dress and whatever. I'm not like that. I mean, that voice is in there sometimes, so I checked. Is that what this is about? No! Because the fact that all of them had to be all dolled up, that's the problem. That they literally focus so much on the looks and the glam and the stupid outfit and even tried to sell Spanx while doing it. And like they made something space, and women in space has normally been associated with like badass, super brave, super smart, super tough, like holy cow. And you know what? Some of those women also wore makeup. And a lot of those women were mothers. Like there was nothing like big about this thing. There was some really admirable women in that, but they were all in the shadow because Katie and Lauren had to make it all about looks. And Lauren, of all people, her face is terrifying. I don't know how much. Like she literally looks like a doll. She's done so much to her face. And again, I try not to make fun of people's looks, but with her and like the Kardashians, I feel like people like them, what they're doing to their face is literally selling surgery, selling like hating yourself, right? And they're billionaires, like they're influencers. And I hate that my nieces are already being influenced by the legacy of the Kardashians. So when you say stuff like, we're going to put the ash back in astronaut, and then you go and talk to everybody about, like brag about and talk about, and like, you're probably getting paid for brand deals doing this. About all of this, you know, she's going to lock in her makeup. And look at all this. Has her makeup artist going out there telling it, like, they made this about makeup. They made this about the stupid line that Lauren, like, her designing, you know, how much you want to bet she's going to try to, like, be, like, is launching a bunch of clothes now. Look at all this makeup that is mentioned just here. Her makeup artist is like, oh, we wanted to capture something soft and beautiful and timeless because this moment will live forever, live on forever. Yeah, as the biggest joke, the day space became so not cool. Like, it was already not cool when I saw Bezos and all these tourists going up there, but now it's really not cool because they made it not cool. Like, space tourism is always not cool to me, okay? But now they've made just space and travel. I don't want any, do you know what I mean? The envision, honored the strength and grace of women making history. I just, like, the way, because they framed this as this big moment, women making history. Doing what? All she did was choose women. And I honestly think she purposely chose women that would make this thing seem more legitimate because of some of the amazing stuff they've done. Her biggest problem was that she put Katy Perry in there. I swear to God, they are so dumb. They have all these people. They have more money than God. They could pay people who can read the room and be like, you know, you probably shouldn't bring Katy Perry up there. Pretty much everybody hates her. All her albums are flopping. She does one offensive thing after another. Maybe she's not the best person to put up there. And like the fact that they asked her, like, Lauren's bad enough, but putting Lauren and those two together, they didn't have a chance. Well, I've been criticizing this thing since it was announced, okay? And for people who are like, you don't criticize men like that. Yes, I do. I've been criticizing all these stupid forks who've been going to space. I've been criticizing the men. So I'm going to have the same heat for the women. And especially if they're cosplaying as feminists in order to sell a bunch of women and girls a bunch of makeup and crap and space tourism and humanize billionaires doing awful things. Now, not only did you not sell most of us anything, you offended the hell out of us because now we know that Lauren and Katie and all those people who are like, you know, branding this thing think we are stupid. And I hate that some of the other women got caught up in this. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they went knowing that Katie and Lauren were going to be on there, but at the same time, like, they probably didn't anticipate how much we hate those women and how much those women would make a joke out of the whole thing, would make this a total failure. Like, I wish that half of the crew was on like a flight that was doing like sciencey stuff instead of this publicity stunt, which was basically an infomercial for space tourism, so that none of us will ever afford to do it. But they want us to think they want to normalize it so that we just get used to it. And we don't question why our tax dollars are paying for this crap. And our earth is dying because of this crap, right? We're like, wow. And then we got Katie and all that. You never know. You know, you got to go to space to know how to love. You know, you got to go to space to feel connected to everyone and united. Come on. You have Bethany Frankel talking about this. You know it's not going to end well. You got like reality stars. And you got the Kardashians there. You don't have anybody there that we take seriously. And then we didn't know the other women in there who are serious until this. And now they have this negative things attached. God! I just want to point out some of the ways that they've been talking about this. Fitted pantsuits, deep V-cuts, embellishments down the sides of sleeves and pants, touches of leather and towering stiletto heel. I have never worn stilettos. I'm not a heel person. I think the closest I've worn a couple times, I wore something at a wedding. There's literally been like, I can count on like my hand how many times I've worn heels. If I was invited or paid, I can't figure out who paid and who didn't, to go to space, and they made me look like Lauren and put this much makeup on my face, and probably I wouldn't be surprised if they made them have fillers. I mean, honestly, and then put me in this ridiculous bootcut outfit that looks like an 80s ski outfit. Literally, they look just like ski bunnies from the 80s. And then also made me wear heels. I would be so pissed. Because the norm is for women to get dolled up. And so by going so hard the other way, being like, you know what, screw this frumpy, man stuff. You know what, maybe women want to be comfortable, okay? How is wearing Spanx comfortable? God, this makes me so mad. When first being invited to space, so again, to me, it makes no sense that those women paid. Jeff Bezos, they have so much money, they comped them. If they charge them, that is offensive, okay? Because the amount of publicity that choosing, oh my God. If they made the scientists pay to go on that, oh my God, I hope not. And honestly, I really do blame, I don't understand how Katie and Lauren could have done all this and not researched more. Like, that is what I mean when they said they think we're stupid, okay? The way she was like, mothers can go to space. There are so many, like, astronauts who were really pissed about the way this was handled. Because they were, like, making a joke out of them. They were so disrespectful in the way that they were like, we're astronauts now. Meanwhile, all these women, especially from NASA, are getting fired. And they're all like, we're astronauts. We're going to put the ass back in it. I mean, this one article, one giant stunt for womankind, brilliant title. They even called out Elle in this article. Elle suggested that the Blue Origin flight will be the first time anybody went to space with their hair and makeup done. And then, as Perry put it, space is finally going to be glam. Right here. But in fact, female astronauts have long brought their beauty work into space with them. Life magazine published an image of, oh my gosh, Tereshkova? I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I didn't prepare to read that name. At the hairdresser, explaining that she was primping for orbit. Look at this. Look, they give all these examples. Okay? So, like, the way that they're like, what, your moms are fine. I asked, did y'all research anything? Literally, did you look into anything? Because there is a Wikipedia page that I went to. I Googled moms that have been to space, okay? It's real simple. I put it in quotes and I put it in Google, and it came up with all these articles of all the moms who've been to space, and there's been a lot of them, okay? I even cited it in my first video. That took me, 7 minutes to, sort through all that. The Wikipedia page has all these women astronauts. You could read a little bit about all of them. So this is so offensive. We literally had a woman who was stuck in space. I did a whole thing about Sunita and how she was stuck in space and how hard that was on their bodies and how dangerous it is for women to be stuck in far off places with men. I'm glad that we're there, but they should always be like half men, women, because men being alone with men is dangerous, right? We have women who have sacrificed their bodies because being in space for a long time is not healthy for the human body. And women tend to suffer more for many reasons in terms of bone stuff and whatever. I don't know. I did this already in a video. Okay? So humans sacrifice a lot going up there. And they're all like, hey, look what we're doing. We're making history. Bite me. Look, remember, women are always like the personification of home. Okay? So, like, don't think that anything women have ever done, they haven't glammed it up a little bit. Hell, they even had Rosie the Riveter, even though those women were not wearing makeup in the factories. They had posters being like, they always, like, And then as soon as they didn't need women in the factories anymore, and men needed jobs, then they were like, go be a housewife now. Go take a bunch of drugs and numb yourself and be stuck out in the middle of nowhere with like a GI Bill that's racist. And now women are literally like, my grandma was a hostage, okay? At least one of them. I don't think the other one was, but one of them was literally a hostage, okay? So like, shut up. Does Lauren Sanchez know any history? She's been preparing for this for a long time, but maybe she didn't do so many interviews talking about makeup and wasn't spend so much time designing maybe she should have done a little studying on women astronauts, what all they've done, so she doesn't sound like such a fool. This spaceflight feels like a training mission for a billionaire fantasy of escaping Earth's smoldering husk. And this is actually a line that I think is important, y'all. The private aerospace industry's largely male clientele may not wish to bro down forever on Mars. They will desire moms to go to space with them, and fiancés too. Cause it's like the Wild West, baby. They all want to be cowboys, but you know what? There's a lot of schmex workers out in the West because men don't know what to do without women. They gotta exploit us somehow. They refuse to take care of themselves. So this is actually something I hadn't even thought about. Is this why they want women to be sold on space? Because they realize they got all these lonely losers, and the only men who'd probably want to go live in space don't have any love in their life, and so they're like, oh, we gotta sell this crap to women. We need women up there. Who the hell are we gonna exploit if women aren't up there? Who are we gonna have clean? Who are we gonna fork? All right, we gotta sell women on this. Let's women empowerment. Is it like, I had never even thought of this, y'all. They want all of us to be okay with space tourism, and they want women with money going up there to take care of these rich men up there. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they want to ship people out there. If you go live on Mars, you're not going to be living, like, there'll be rich people, like, doing fun in space. But anybody who goes to space is probably going to be poor. Like, if we see what they do on planet Earth, right? With the billionaires and with all this like, like these empire colonizer mindset, we see what they've done all over the global South and within, the United States and all over. They're just going to recreate that in space. You can even tell when Gail, one of the things with Gail, when she was trying to defend all this, she kept talking about sending trash to space. Oh, here it is. What Blue Origin does, and their intention is to figure out a way to harness the waste here and figure out a way to put it in space to make the planet Earth a better place. What? Wait, the United States is already doing this, okay? All we do, like, the United States is such a hyper consumer culture. We just buy. And then we are like, what do we do with all this crap? We just ship it to other countries, Like, we are known for exporting literal trash. Because this is what they want. This is how they want us to consume, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. So I'm sorry, I don't want to harness waste and send it to space. I kind of feel like, just like with anything, you can't just keep pushing something away. You like try to reduce it and stop doing it, find another source, but it's just exporting it to space? I don't trust a billionaire who says he's going to do that. We trusted Elon, and look what he did. The dude said he was going to put a tunnel under LA. He was going to save those kids in the cave. Like, almost everything that man says he's going to do, it's a terrible idea, and he doesn't do it. But anyway, basically, he said, we go to space, we can't, not to abandon home, but to protect it. We're trying to protect you. This is what narcissists say. I'm just trying to protect you. I'm harming you so I can protect you. Earth is a garden that should be tended. Well, oh really? Well, you're a bad gardener. You're like the number one. You are a weasel that just murders all the chickens. I know this because my father-in-law, all the chickens were murdered by a weasel one day. All of them. It's like a horror movie. But whatever. Maybe not a good metaphor. I do not trust that this dude is doing anything good for Earth. And Katy Perry saying stuff like, we gotta protect our mother. And it's not just the U.S. Like, look, Euronews, like, oh, this is one of the most scathing things I've read. And then you were seeing this stuff. Like, people were actually talking about this. Fashion revolution. What? Literally talking about skim. What? Were they wearing corsets up there? Like, come on. So I don't want to talk about them anymore. They brought all this on themselves, Lauren and Kate, and they deserve all the heat that they are getting. And I hate that they just made not only space not cool, but women astronauts not cool, because they are so not cool. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. I am so tired of talking about this, but God, it just keeps getting worse. I think I'm done talking about the space thing. Like, comment, share. Make sure your notifications hit. Make sure you're subscribed if you like my work, because people keep getting unsubscribed without knowing it. Follow my Patreon if you can afford to. I do lives, watch parties, personal stories, travel stories, all kinds of cool stuff over there. And let me know if you heard the comment song. OMG, I'm an astronaut. Sexy, 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 sexy astronaut. Ring that bell, I'm an astronaut. Sexy, sexy astronaut. Got sexy college student. Sexy South Park character and Freddy. Sexy, 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 I'm sexy. Sexy hamburger, sexy shark. Chomp, 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 I'm gonna get you. Sexy Mario, where's sexy Luigi, huh? Sexy Girl Scout, and what is sexier than a baby? I don't know, maybe an astronaut. Sexy, sexy, sexy astronaut. Sexy, weird, quirky, lovey astronaut. Now this is a real astronaut. Sexy astronaut, no thank you, because we don't care, she's smart as fork. These are not sexy astronauts, they're space cowboys. So are they sexy feminists? Okay, sexy whatever the hell this is. I don't care, I don't want a sexy astronaut. I don't want a sexy car dealer. You know what I want is my vibrator. Maybe y'all should get one and leave feminism out of your astronaut crap. What are you doing showing off your big old ring? Because you exploited a bunch of workers at Amazon to get that sexy, 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 sexy space exploration. For this, I hate y'all. Stop with the sexy blah, 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 and get in this thing instead. Sexy, 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 sexy astronaut. We're over it. We don't want you. Go away. Sexy astronaut.